Morning. Hello, hello. How's it going? We resume book club today. Yes, welcome back. Hey, Amanda, welcome back to you. How is everyone? Mina, Avery, Ray, how are you? Oh my goodness, everything was so lovely. We had some mishaps along our holiday way, which, you know, is life, right? But everything was beautiful and it was so lovely to see all of our family, etc. My sister did an absolutely amazing job with the baby shower. Hey Nikki, hello. Hey Naisa, hey Roxy. Yeah, everything was really beautiful. Good morning. I have made slime from your book yesterday. Lots of fun. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for saying so. I'm glad that it worked. Yeah, we had a great time with everybody. Really, really lovely. You know, really just lovely. Good stuff. Good stuff. How are you feeling today? I'm a little tired, but overall really good and excited to get back to book club. It's kind of like a comfort thing for me, you know, book club is. So I'm excited to get back to. I like my routine, you know. I was really happy to see all of our family and do all of these really exciting things, but at the same time, I really enjoy my routine. So for me, nobody missed book club. You know, having book club, and then I have breakfast, and then I get to work, you know, it's a really nice start to the morning. Mostly, Becca, mostly. You must be exhausted. Oh, I am. Yesterday we had quite the day, so I'm a little bit sleepy pants, but I'm up and at 'em making our coffee as I do. My birthday's in 2 days, and Secret Husband has promised he's going to make me a roll for slime on live, you guys. So we'll see how that goes. He asked me what I wanted to do for my birthday and where I wanted to go, and I was like, I don't want to go anywhere. I want to be home in bed. And he said, well, we have to do something special. And I was like, you can make me a roll for slime. He was like, okay, I'll make you a roll for slime. So we'll see. You guys should all come watch him make me a roll for slime. I think that'd be pretty funny. My phone needed to tell me first thing this morning. My Christmas was great, Bella. How was yours? With just his hands. Oh my gosh, that would be funny, Amanda. I don't know. I don't know how he's going to do it. He hasn't said yet what he wants to use as his process. I guess we'll find out, right? I guess we will find out. He is such a green flag. We are going to go to a special dinner that he planned for my birthday, but the reservation is not on my birthday because of a million different factors. So even though we will be having a special birthday dinner, it will not be this week, which is fine by me. I don't need it to be on my birthday. I'm not that person, if you will. I'm envisioning a mask or something. I think he's just going to turn it to face his hands. The one icon alerting me to your birthday. Apparently we're going to do a countdown. That's funny. We're doing a countdown to Sasha's birthday, apparently. All right. I never do anything for my birthday, you guys. I'm not like a birthday party person. I don't know. It's just never been a thing for me. I mean, obviously when I was a little kid, I had birthday parties, but like since I've been an adult, not really. So I'm fine with just being home and having a regular day, but like getting a little more rest. Secret Baby, by the way, is a big Disneyland fan. You know how some people say that, like, when you stop moving, like, when you lay down or sit down to relax, your baby will kick a lot? My baby doesn't understand that concept. She just kicks all the time. But when we were at Disneyland, she could hear all of the fun things, and she was like, hey, what are we doing? We're at Disneyland. I'm not doing her. You know what? I love those people, Jen, and I love bringing you presents, and I love celebrating with you. Yeah, we're going home. Exactly. That's what I said, Roxy. Secret baby's your baby. She has to be a Disney fan. Exactly. Exactly. I am due in February, Maddie. I am due in February, so she's real close. The truth of the matter is, from my birthday onward, this baby could come like, or sort of like a month. Once it's a month from my birthday, she could safely come anytime. That's how close we are, you guys. So once we hit my birthday, she only has a month left basically, and she could just show up and not have any like complications. Hey Lauren, we missed you too. You've been in the hospital. I know, I was looking at those things, Roxy. It's pneumonia. I saw the updates you were giving. What a terrible time to be in the hospital. We dealt with the emergency room yesterday because Secret Husband did get a little injured. And my brother and sister-in-law dealt with the emergency room the other day because they got a little injured. So we've had some injuries this week in our family. Some accidents did happen, but we all survived, so that's okay. Can I just say how impressed I am that you're still doing all this very... Oh, thank you, Ray. That's very sweet. That is very sweet. I appreciate the compliment. That's very kind. I'm doing my best. I organized Disneyland for everybody while 8 months pregnant, and so I think I get the Disneyland award for that. Secret Husband is sleeping, thankfully. Yes, he's sleeping. Sleeping off his little injury. Not little, it was quite an injury, but you know. I'm gonna have whipped cream on mine. You make me want to make fancier coffee for myself. Yeah. You know what I decided about coffee and making it fancy? I decided that, you know, I could have a treat every day. Like, I don't eat sugar anyway, so, like, everything I do is sugar-free. So I'm just like, there's something about the, like, reward of every morning getting up and making myself something nice. We don't have roll for slime this week, Lauren. No. I just woke up in the middle of the night. After your baby shower, post and panic, you had the baby. Oh no, we did not have the baby. She's still in here. Look, there she is. See? She's in there. Don't worry, she's safe. I've also been telling myself, as like a pat on the back to myself, which I don't. Do you make 2 coffees? Yes, one is for my husband. Yes, that's correct. I make his coffee every morning except Sunday, and on Sunday, he brings me coffee in bed. Isn't that cute? Because every day I wake up before him because I'm doing book club, but I don't do book club on Sundays, so he makes coffee on Sundays, which I think is very sweet. You guys want to see the puzzle we did over Christmas? Hold on. I'm going to turn the camera so you guys can see. Oh, I can do this. Flip camera. This was our puzzle. Look at that. Isn't that fun? It's one of those magic puzzles. So it's got like slide apart pieces and extra additions and everything. Yeah, it's a nice one. It's a lot of fun. Very fun, very fun. Okay, how am I gonna turn the camera back? I did it. I did it, you guys. I'm a genius. It's not true. I'm not actually a genius, but it's fine. I've tried doing one of those wooden puzzles with the weird shapes on Christmas. Oh yeah? I haven't done one of those yet. Yeah, it's a very fun puzzle. So yes, I do make 2 coffees every morning. One for me and one for him. I did like 20 pieces and got headache. You gotta send a picture, Lauren, because I'm not sure I know what you're talking about, but I would like to see. We're a big puzzle group. Secret Husband and I do. He got me that puzzle for Christmas. It was a gift, so we did it because I don't know. I just wanted to, and we love them. I keep getting whipped cream on my face, like a child with a milk mustache. How was everyone else's Christmas and currently ongoing Hanukkah? How are you all? Did everyone have a good Christmas? You finished that in a day? Yeah, we did that in a day, but we did it with family. I want to get that puzzle board, the drawers. That's what we have. That's what we have, Liz. That's what I was just showing you guys. Yeah, look at, we have that. I can't swivel it because I got my coffee right here, but it swivels and all that jazz. Super chill. It was at my cousin's house with similar. Yeah. It's got the drawers. It was really useful because we organized all of the puzzle pieces by like type into the 4 different drawers. So then people could hand the drawers around the board and take turns looking in the drawers. And we weren't ever just looking at one giant pile of pieces, which I think made it go faster. So like someone on the left side would be like, can I see that other drawer with the like weird shaped pieces in it? And we're like, yeah, sure. Can I have the one that has the edges? Yeah, okay, sure. You know what I mean? Like, so it was like that, which I think, I don't know, it was fun. We did it as a family, you know. My Christmas is going to be celebrated yesterday. It was nice. That's awesome. We also celebrated like kind of in shifts because we had so much family stuff going on. So like Zoe came for my baby shower and I let her open her presents at the baby shower, you know what I mean? Because she's 4 and I didn't want her to be bored. So I let her open her Christmas gifts from Secret Husband and I so that she could have something to do, you know. Today's been overwhelming. My kids broke a piece of styrofoam and now are they beating each other with it? That's what I imagine that they are doing. Oh, it's just everywhere. Oh, I thought they were going to beat each other with it. That somehow would have been funnier for me, but maybe not great for you. Tell them to use the snowballs that I sent them. Say Aunt Sasha sent you a indoor snowball fight for fun. Low key and calm. The kids got PS5s and now. Oh. You know, Ray, I've never had a PlayStation. I've only been a Nintendo girl my whole life. I've only ever played on Nintendo stuff. Since I was like 4, we've been a Nintendo family, so I've never had a PlayStation. Yeah. You can't with styrofoam. I can't with styrofoam either. The sound of styrofoam, you guys, the sound of styrofoam is one of the most horrific sounds that exists on the planet Earth. Whoever decided that they should insert that sound onto this planet was a terrorist. It's truly awful. Yeah, really awful sound. Not ideal. Well, you know, I'm so glad that we are all back to our normal schedule, and we will of course have the texture of styrofoam is also awful, but even just hearing someone else touch it is like, bleh, you know, nasty pants. I told my kids it's like when they need headphones, mommy needs a sensor. Yeah, it's a sensory nightmare. I agree. Hello. Hearing the phrase sound of styrofoam makes me, yeah, I get it, Gigi. It's like when well, I'm not even gonna say it because I don't want to put it out in the world, but there's another sound that I hate just as much as that. And when I even hear someone talking about that sound, I get like, I get twitchy. Be careful with styrofoam if the kids pull things in their mouths. I heard it doesn't show up on x-rays. Oh my gosh. Thankfully, Becca's kids are of an age where they don't put their things in their mouth, but anyone else, yeah. My stepson is all routine and he's going bonkers, me too. Yes, I am all routine. I completely agree. It's very difficult for me to, you know what, Amanda, I have to tell you, I would stay anyway. The reason I'm saying that is TikTok is not letting me download the last one, so I don't know if there's gonna be a way to get that. This is what I was gonna tell you guys. I'm really sad about this, but hey, James, everyone say hi to my friend James. I have been fighting with TikTok to get the last episode from right before Christmas when we did the last one, and it will not download for anything, so I might just have to give you guys a recap of it because I tried everything. I reinstalled the app. Like, there's nothing I can do to get it. It's not like, usually when you guys hear me say I'm fighting with uploading it, usually it's a YouTube issue and at least I have the file on my phone. I don't have this file at all. It won't even get past 0%. That is the issue I'm having with the other day's thing. So I don't know what we're gonna do with that, but I can give a recap, and then we can read today's, obviously. We didn't read too much the other day, thankfully. Yeah, it's been super funky. downloaded it again. I tried every single thing, every trick I've ever known to get them to download, and it just, even this morning I was doing it, and I was like, if I could just get it up there, and I can't even get it to download, let alone upload. So that is the problem I'm having currently with that, which is a huge bummer. If it does it again with this one, we might have to switch platforms a little early, which is not what I planned for at all. But at least if it's already on the YT, it uploads automatically. So it's not great. And I didn't want to switch today because I didn't want everyone to be like thrown into a tizzy, because again, routine is big and important for us spicy folks. But like, it's not great that it's not downloading. So I'm gonna try, if I have a slime live later also, I will try to download that one too, and hope for the best. So let me go into it and we'll do a recap from what happened the other day. Hold on one second, I'm opening up the kins. Happy birthday, Karina. Just got on Prince of Oregon, love your reading of it. Thank you so much, Gigi. I need to make new year, new platform. Unfortunately, yeah. I need to make new chapters of that this week. That's one of the things that we're gonna do this week, actually, Gigi, is new chapters of the Prince of Oregon will be in the audiobook. It's Karina's birthday. Karina, we are almost birthday twins. My birthday's in 2 days, so we're like that close. Okay, so basically what happened in the last chapters, man, being in the hospital without a break in quiet space is very hard. Yeah, sleep is it's impossible, I'm sure. We were there for like 6 hours yesterday. We did not have the baby. No, she should not come for at least another month. If she shows up before a month from now, we should all be concerned. But if she comes anytime after a month from now, we can all be happy. We will start Baby Watch 2025 pretty much in exactly 1 month from now. We'll start wondering when she's gonna show up. So we have 1 month where we need to keep her in as long as we can. And then after a month from now, she can come whenever she wants because she'll be fully cooked. So she'll be all good. But for right now, she's got to stick in there 1 more month. You had a Kindle for Christmas? Oh my God, that's amazing, Avery. So you guys all know how, like, did the crashing of the menorah, the breaking of the menorah happen in the two book clubs ago, right? It did. We saw Rachel crash into the giant menorah and it broke into 1 million pieces, or whatever, however many pieces, million's an exaggeration. No, okay, so then I know what to tell you guys. Okay, so Rachel's dressed as the matzo ball, and the kids that they have her watching, fully cooked, yeah, we're talking about the baby, so she's dressed as the matzo ball, and they have her watching all these bratty rich kids, and she ends up getting rolled into the menorah, and the menorah that they have as their like big centerpiece, the 10-foot menorah, she just crashes into it and it breaks into a bunch of pieces, and she storms the heck out of there like, well, happy birthday. And so that was a bummer. And then yes, happy birthday to all birthdays, exactly. And then so Jacob doesn't know why she's so upset, obviously, but she has never told him about the one that he spent all the time putting together. Yeah, Amanda, that's the one. And then he doesn't know that she's chronically ill, of course, so when she storms out of there all mad, you know, yada yada, and then her best friend Mickey finds out about it and goes and like approaches Jacob and is like, why are you such a jerk? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, I was just trying to be funny. And he's like, you don't understand, you're pushing her and she's sick. And he's like, what kind of sick? You have to tell me. And Mickey's like, it's not my place to tell you, but like, don't be a jerk. So then Jacob goes home to his grandma and is like, I'm a jerk. And his grandma's like, you didn't know, but you do need to apologize. You know, the whole wise grandma shtick, which we all know and love. You know, the whole wise grandma shtick, which we all know and love. And, you know, Rachel's just having a bit of a rough go of things, but Jacob now should know that he can't do that kind of stuff. And as far as, if I'm remembering the timeline correctly, now correct anyone who's been in the book club all the days can correct me if I'm wrong. You didn't have a wise grandma with stories. Last one ended with her submitting the draft. Yes, exactly. That is exactly correct, Gigi. Thank you for the reminder. I did forget that. So she actually like got so mad at him that she stayed like up crazy and wrote 3 chapters of the new book, which is like basically a Hanukkah rom-com, but describing Jacob as a terrible person, essentially, is what she wrote. And it's like a Grinch, like kind of like the book we just read for book club, which is how My Neighbor Stole Christmas, which is a play on the Grinch. But hers is also a play on the Grinch, but like Jacob is the Grinch in her book, you know what I mean? Because she was so mad at him. So she submitted it to her publisher, literally like the previous thing is an email, but the last response was an email. I can actually just read the last email from her publisher, or her manager rather, because it's so quick, and then we'll be kind of caught up. It says, Rachel, I couldn't resist sharing your delicious pages for the Hanukkah Grinch with Chandra. Not surprisingly, everyone at Romance House positively lit up like a menorah for this story. I've never laughed so hard. Chandra's thinking this could be turned into a series. Money, 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 money. That's more than a few years of work, girlfriend. Are you able to come in and have a meeting to talk? I'm hearing rumblings of a 7-book deal. Oh, she had stories of being on the set of Bonanza. That's amazing, Becca. I want to hear all those stories. That sounds phenomenal. Yeah, rage writing. She did. Speaking of which, previous book, you got it on Amazon, right? Which one? How the Grinch, the Grinch, or this one? Some of them I get on Libby. Some of them I get on Amazon. I think the Grinch one I got through Kindle Unlimited on Amazon. And this one I bought because it was not available on Kindle Unlimited, so I just splurged for it, which is fine. Happy to do that when a book is good. Not happy to do it when a book is bad. Sometimes I buy a book and I'm like, oh, bummer. So that's where we are. She has rage submitted her things. Jacob knows she's ill, but he doesn't know what kind of ill, etc., and so on. And so we move forward with these chapters. I think the last 2 for this one are on Kindle Unlimited. Yes, that's correct, Sloth. That's exactly right. Return to sender. Yes. Okay, so we are on chapter 24. This was 4. 24 this morning. And for anyone keeping up, we're at 54%. So we're just about the halfway point of this book, give or take. Rachel awoke with only a hazy memory of the previous night's events. She recalled Mickey coming over, having a glass of red wine, followed by 6 hours of Golden Girl reruns. And then suddenly the clouds around her brain lifted. She remembered Jacob arriving in the middle of the night. Springing straight up in her bed, she panicked. She glanced over to her nightstand, fumbled for the white envelope she snatched from his hands, and opening it up, she stared down at the peace offering that Jacob had left her. Inside was 1 silver ticket for the Matzah ball. Oh, I forgot that. He showed up at her house in the middle of the night and brought her the Matzah ball ticket and told her she didn't have to volunteer anymore. And she was like, I don't want your stupid ticket, you know, basically. But there it is. She's got the ticket. Suspicion rose up inside her. Given everything she knew about this man, she assumed this ticket was probably another one of his pranks. She could imagine the scene now. She would arrive at the Matzah ball all decked out to the nines, only to discover that her ticket didn't work. Maybe Jacob would even have her arrested for showing up. She would not be made a fool of again. Tossing the ticket back on her nightstand, Rachel was determined to repress the memory of Jacob Greenberg forever. She pulled the covers up over her head and she blinked through the fatigue stretching across her body. She didn't have the energy to worry about Jacob. She was beyond exhausted. Every inch of her skin hurt and felt inflamed. Her brain felt foggy and her throat ached. Feeling a damp spot beneath her body, she knew that she had experienced night sweats. She wanted to grab a towel and place it beneath her body, but she was just too tired to do it. So she laid there shivering, waiting to fall back to sleep. She was having a very bad day. How long would it last? Rachel had no way of knowing. Chronic fatigue syndrome was the great decider. It had decided her career, where she traveled on vacation, whom she would be intimate with. And it had influenced her relationships, stolen friendships, and forced her to live on constant uncertainty, robbing her of any practical ability to plan for the future. That sounds like a huge bummer. I would not like that life. It had deprived her of normal, the privilege of having choice, yet despite all of those things, Rachel Rubenstein Goldblatt was a fighter. She so desperately wanted to push through it if she could. She would head to the office and write, add another 10,000 words to her manuscript of the Hanukkah Grinch. She knew the likelihood of that happening was probably zilch, but her brain was far too muddied to be coherent at this time. Still, she would settle for breakfast. Rachel wanted nothing more than a cup of hot soup. It would calm her scratchy throat and fill up her starving belly. But the idea of standing at the stove and heating up a can for 5 minutes felt like a monumental effort. Her body was done. There was nothing to do but lie prone and wait for this bad day to pass. She drifted into the strange reality between sleep and waking, grateful for the respite, until she heard a knock at the door. Rachel sat up in bed, forcing herself awake. Who the hell would be bothering her at this time of the morning? It was midweek in Manhattan. Almost every healthy person that she knew should be at work. She grumbled at the idea of Jacob returning to her door to ask for his ticket back. Whoever was at the door, however, was certainly determined. The knocking and the buzzing continued, and Rachel forced herself out of bed, threw on a robe, and peeked through the peephole. A woman was standing in her hall. She did not recognize her. She was also getting seriously annoyed with her doorman. What was the point of paying exorbitant co-op fees if they let solicitors or summer camp arch nemesis come up to her apartment without warning? She threw open the door. Listen, I appreciate your efforts here, but I'm not really interested in... Good morning, Rachel. Oh, sorry. Good morning, Rachel. The woman beamed, speaking with a slight French accent. My name is Martha McBride. How are you today? Rachel blinked. She knew her name. It threw her for a loop. She took a careful accounting of the small woman standing before her. She was wearing a modern black dress, chic and fashionable, lined with a tiny white ruffle around the neck. It gave her the look of authority, which paired with rather nicely wired rimmed glasses. Still, Rachel had no idea why this woman was standing in her hallway. I'm fine, she confessed, confused. Is there something that I can help you with? Actually, my dear, Martha pushed her way past Rachel and into the apartment. Is there something I can help you with? Rachel wouldn't normally let a strange and chirpy woman just waltz into her apartment. However, feeling foggy this morning, she was moving about 2 seconds slower than the rest of the universe, and by the time she even realized what had happened, it was too late. Martha McBride was standing in her living room, tapping notes into a slim black tablet. I didn't want you to worry about the mess, Martha said, moving around the room like some freakazoid come-to-life version of Mary Poppins. I have a cleaning team set to arrive in the next hour, but you, my dear, you need to rest. Can you sleep while I have a cleaning team here, or should I send them away until after breakfast with your private chef? I'm sorry, Rachel said, uncertain if she was dreaming or not. Who are you again? I am Martha McBride, she chirped once again, offering her hand. I'm here to make your life easier. Rachel laughed. My life could not possibly be made easier. You would be surprised, Martha corrected her. Money has a way of being the great equalizer in all things. Fortunately for both of us, your benefactor has a lot of money. Money he is most eager to spend on you and my services for you. You're a nurse? Oh, no, she said. Not a nurse, but an executive assistant. One of the finest that money could buy. In fact, Jacob Greenberg sent me. Rachel could feel the ire rising in her belly. Returning to the door, she kindly motioned to the hallway. Get out. I'm afraid that won't be possible, my dear. Then I'll call the police on you. And tell them what? She raised a trimmed eyebrow in Rachel's direction. Some woman is standing in your living room offering to clean your house and do your laundry. I think the police have better things to do with their time, no? Fine. Rachel squared her shoulders defiantly. Then you're fired. I appreciate you coming all the way out here, but your services are no longer required. Please go back to whatever chimney or Hulu series you crawled out of. Oh, alas, I was not hired by you, so technically you cannot fire me, but I would be happy to remain out of your way as much as possible so you can rest. I am here, after all, to meet your every whim and desire. Stalemate. Martha McBride had dug in the heels of her sensible orthopedic shoes into Rachel's overpriced area rug. This woman did not seem to be going anywhere. Perhaps on another day, in another lifetime, Rachel would have had the chutzpah to throw Martha out, but the truth was, on this day and in this lifetime, Rachel was just too tired. She didn't have the energy to fight Mary Poppins. She didn't have the wherewithal to call Jacob, form a cohesive argument, and tell him to shove off. All she wanted to do was crawl back into bed, and yet, despite the fact that she despised Jacob and didn't trust his intentions, she did need the help. Fine. Can you heat up soup? Rachel asked, exasperated. My dear, Martha said, taking her arm and leading her back to her bedroom. As I've already told you, I can do anything you need. Sorry, I don't know if the live paused for a second, but I got a spam call, which, is par for the course. But you guys heard me say that she asked her to make soup, right? It didn't pause for that part, I hope. All right, well, that was interesting. Oops. So now we are on chapter 25. The glass high-rise downtown looked as imposing as it felt. Jacob sat on the bench outside in Memorial Park just across the street, watching the lunch crowd move past him. It felt surreal being back here. His phone buzzed to attention in his pocket. Pulling it out, he saw it was a text message from Martha. All done. She's resting. Thank you for letting me know, he replied. Quite a bit of spirit on that one, though. All spirit, actually, he replied. Your mother would have liked her quite a bit. Jacob smiled at her words. Martha was right. Jacob had a ferocity of spirit and a willingness to put Jacob in his place that his own mother really would have appreciated. He texted Martha back, Hey, look, I appreciate you flying out last minute. I appreciate you sending a private jet. Smiley face. Jacob laughed before adding one final text message. Please make sure she has everything she needs. I don't really care about the cost. Of course. Satisfied, he powered down his phone. With Rachel provided for, it was time for him to confront his father. Oh, ooh. Jacob rose from the bench, made his way across the midday traffic, and walked inside. Dun, dun, dun. Greenberg Associates lay on the 35th floor of the stark and beautiful high-rise. Jacob rode the elevator up, counting each floor before the doors finally parted and entered the lobby. It was everything that you would expect from a successful law firm in Manhattan. There was modern art decorating the walls alongside sculptures in weird shapes and angles. Still, for all its fancy, opulent artwork, the place was cold. Sterile, except for the floor-to-window ceilings offering a God's eye view of the world. His father's law firm was devoid of any human personality. Jacob moved to the front desk, where a woman in a tight beige sweater and her brown hair neatly pinned back into a bun looked up from her computer. May I help you? She asked. I'm here to see Richard Greenberg. Do you have an appointment? I'm his son. Oh. Jacob wasn't surprised by the shock that registered in clear spotches across the red of the woman's cheeks. Red across the woman's cheeks. He could only imagine what his father told people about his life. If anyone knew that he had a nearly 30-year-old son living in France, one that he had abandoned as a child, or maybe he didn't tell them that he had a son at all, he wondered how his father would spin it. It's Jacob, he said. Marilyn's son, just in case, he needs help remembering who I am. God, that felt good to say. It gave Jacob a strange sort of pleasure to finally be able to speak his truth aloud without shame or embarrassment after all these years. The secretary cleared her throat. One moment, please. He watched her disappear back down a hallway. Jacob waited, tapping his fingers against the counters, and moments later she reappeared, all smiles and good tidings, the perfect example of prim and proper professionalism. You know what, she said sweetly and apologetically. Mr. Greenberg is just extremely busy today. He's wondering if you wouldn't mind coming back tomorrow. Jacob forced a smile. No, I'll wait. But Jacob took a seat in the lobby. Unless his father had a parachute stored under his desk, they were going to do this thing today. Jacob spent the next 3 hours waiting to see his father. At one point, he pulled out his phone and attempted to distract himself with work. He answered questions via text message and shot off emails to Shmuel and Maddie. Occasionally, his eyes drifted over to the abstract art in front of him. Copper angles and floating spheres, jagged edges without color. It was so cold and unfeeling, very much like his father. And finally, Richard Greenberg appeared. He came bursting out of his office, racing down the hallway, all smiles and energy. "Jacob," Richard said, shaking his hand. "Well, what a nice surprise." It was all so very friendly. "Dad, why don't we just go into my office?" Jacob followed him down the hall and into a large corner office with a city view. In the shelves around his desk were law books, awards, photographs, diplomas, and of course a whole collection of baseball paraphernalia. "Can I, his father twisted around at the door, "get you something to drink?" Jacob said, picking up one of the baseballs to inspect it. It had an autograph, a name he didn't recognize, but he imagined, based on the way it was displayed on a clear plastic shelf with overhead lighting, that it must be expensive. Something worthwhile and important. Things worth keeping. Jacob put the baseball back down. "Coffee?" his dad asked, ignoring the fact that he was touching his stuff. "Or maybe something a little stronger?" "Water's fine," Jacob said. His father disappeared down another hall. Jacob breathed a sigh of relief. He was grateful for the quiet. He needed a few solitary moments to gather his thoughts. Jacob had barely recognized his father when he approached him in the lobby. The image in his memory was of a younger man, a superhero with black hair and huge arms who could toss you around the room just for fun while wrestling. It had been nearly 2 decades since Jacob had last seen his father, and this man, this old man with white hair and a receding hairline, was a stranger to him. It struck Jacob that if he had passed Richard Greenberg on the street or sat beside him on the subway, he would not have recognized him. His father returned with a bottle of water, and Jacob took a seat in front of the desk. His dad, still chipper, pulled a drawer open and revealed a bottle of scotch and 2 crystal glasses. "You don't mind, do you?" "No," Jacob said. "I figure this calls for a bit of a celebration." He took the seat in front of Jacob and poured 2 glasses. He pushed one in Jacob's direction, but he didn't want it. He didn't feel like celebrating his trauma from 20 years ago with a stranger. But he took it anyway, tapping on the glass. "God," his father said, and rubbed the front of his face with one hand. "I can't believe it's you. How old are you now? 20? I'm 30. 30, his father responded. "Wow, you still live in France?" Jacob nodded. "Paris. You like it there?" "It's fine." "And," his father tapped on the glass with one finger, attempting to make conversation, "this is your first time back in New York?" "Yep." "Well," his father took a drink, "I'm glad you decided to come and see me. It's been too long, right?" Jacob's eyes wandered over to a photo on the desk. In a smart silver frame, a smiling woman in a field, long blonde hair blowing in the wind, wrapped her arms around 3 equally angelic-looking children. He wondered who these people were or if they came with the frame. "You got remarried?" Jacob asked. He put down the drink. Yeah, that's Sheila." "Sheila?" Jacob scanned his memory. "What happened to Peggy?" "Peggy? The woman you were staying with when Mom got sick?" His father shrugged. "That one didn't work out." Jacob didn't want to know exactly, but he had to ask. "And are they yours?" "Who?" "The kids." Jacob nodded towards the photograph. "In the picture. Are they yours?" "Oh, kids." Jacob nodded towards the photograph. "In the picture. Are they yours?" "Oh." His dad looked over. "No, they're from her first marriage." Jacob breathed a sigh of relief. "Do I have any other siblings?" His father put down the drink, insulted. "Of course not." Jacob couldn't help being riled by his father's offense to a simple question. He had the right to know if he had brothers and sisters. He had the right to know if he had any family. But of course, selfish and narcissistic Richard was only focused on one person in the room, and that was himself. "I called you," Jacob said, "after Mom passed." "Yes," his father said. "I know. You never called me back." "What is it that you want, Jacob? Do you need money?" "What? No, I don't need money." "Then what?" his father said, growing agitated. "Why are you here after all these years?" "I want to know why you left." His father hesitated and rose from his seat, poured himself another drink. You think it was all me, his father grumbled. You think I'm the bad guy here, and that your dear, sweetly departed mother was a saint? I spent a whole year trying to get you back. A whole year, Jacob scoffed. You were too young to remember what your mother was like, he said, returning to his desk. She was depressed, Jacob. She wasn't right in the head, and she was determined to go back to France. What was I supposed to do? Huh? She was sick and stubborn, and Paris was a million miles. She always put you on the card. What? Mom, Jacob said. Every birthday card up until the year she died, she'd put your name on the card. Love, Mom, and Dad. I used to get so annoyed with her. Why do you do that? Why do you put him on the card? I haven't talked to him in years. I know Dad isn't sending me birthday cards. His father squinted a little. I don't understand. I didn't either, Jacob admitted. Even after she died, I sat with it, and I wondered, why would she do something like that? It used to drive me nuts. But now coming here, I understand. She loved me. She loved me so much that she let me keep the fantasy of you alive. What are you talking about? She never talked ill of you, Jacob said in a sudden realization. Not once, actually. Never, ever. Maybe she should have. Maybe I would have been less angry at her if she'd simply told me the truth about who you were. But you were my hero. You were the dad who took me to baseball games. You bought me a mascot costume in the shape of a baseball. She wanted me to have that dad. So she put your name on the card. That's not fair. Fair? Jacob spit the words out. You left her, you left us because she was sick. I didn't, because you thought she had nothing left to offer, right? Because it's hard to watch someone you love suffer. Well, guess what, Dad? It was hard for me too. It was awful watching Mom go through even her worst days. His father sat listening, not moving. Perhaps even the very best of lawyers knew when they had no defense left. But Mom, Jacob said, his heart aching over every word, Mom had this enormous capacity for love. She had this ability to be there for people in a way that you will never understand. She lit up every room that she entered. And you, Dad, you think you got away. You think you escaped it. But you're the one who missed out. Jacob rose to leave, finally and forever, but not before lobbying one last attack. It was the least he could do, after all, for his beloved Bubby. And call your goddamn mother, for God's sake. Jacob exploded onto Fifth Avenue just as the sun was setting. The cold air nipped at his cheeks, forcing him to pull his jacket taut against the chill. And yet, despite the brisk weather, he felt warm. In his mind, he saw himself standing at his mother's graveside, tossing dirt under her coffin, tucking her gently in for one final sleep. He walked until he reached the East River, and he walked until the monsters that followed him his entire life were simply just no more. For Jacob had wrestled with his father and, in the light of this morning, he had emerged changed. 7th email. Rachel Rubenstein Goldblatt to Lisa Brown. Thursday, December 16th. Subject, the Hanukkah Grinch. Proposal. Lisa, this is such great news about the Hanukkah Grinch turning into a series. You seriously made my week, and believe me, it's been an awful week. Tell Chandra that I have more than enough material to fill lots and lots of books. Yay! Rachel. P.S. Can we schedule the meeting for 2 weeks from now? I've come down with a terrible flu. Cough, cough. Chapter 26. That was rough, you guys. I'm sure that approaching his father like that was not an easy journey, poor guy. We have time for one more chapter before I have to get to work. It was another glamorous day in bed, another day stuck in her apartment, staring at 4 walls. It didn't matter that Rachel had been sick for close to 12 years. Even foggy and exhausted, the boredom that came alongside her disease was astounding. Yes, toss, toss. She thought about facing her computer, getting some writing work done on the Hanukkah Grinch, but she was still far too ill to be sitting up or putting
together cohesive sentences. She considered her alternatives. She glanced over to the side of her bedroom where her laptop rested. It was almost Christmas. Rachel had 2 books releasing. This was normally when Margot Cross would go online and connect with her fans, but even social media could set her back when she had a crash. She was in that delicate place where she was between better and bad. She could push through, which would likely lead to worse days and more lost time. The only way to get out of her flare-up was to stop completely. Deal with the boredom of staring at walls, put an eye mask over her face, plugs in her ears, and cut out any light and noise stimulation. She lay back in her bed and tried to force herself to rest. She listened to the sounds of footsteps creaking around in the apartment above her. What day was it even? She reached into her nightstand and pulled out her Jewish calendar, which strung together all the Gregorian dates against the Jewish lunar calendar. It was Thursday, December 16th, the 4th night of Hanukkah was this evening, and Rachel shook her head, frustrated by her body. She couldn't believe that she had only made it 2 frickin' days volunteering for Jacob's matzo ball. It seemed impossible that she could be this sick. And then, throwing the calendar back into her nightstand, she decided that it wasn't completely her fault. It was a combination of events. The physicality of Jacob's matzo ball chores coupled with the mental exertion required to write her Hanukkah Grinch proposal, plus there was all that stress. It was an exhausting combination that had sent her into post-exertion malaise, just a full-blown crash. A light knock on the door drew her attention away. One moment, Rachel called out. She sat up and smoothed out the wrinkles on her sheets, attempting to push down her wild and frizzy curls. Chronic illness was an intimate state. Though Rachel could not deny that Martha was helpful, she really wanted this woman out of her house. Okay, Rachel said. Come in. Martha appeared at her door with a tray. Good morning, Rachel. She swooped in, laying the tray down beside her. I hope you don't mind that I'm arranged for a light breakfast for you this morning. Rachel stared down at the tray. It was not a light breakfast. Scrambled eggs sat beside freshly sliced avocado and fruit salad, and on the side, as if she wanted to provide the option for less healthy alternatives, were 3 silver dollar pancakes and 2 chocolate crepes. I did not want to wake you to ask you what you wanted, Martha explained, so I just had the chef make everything that I like. No worry, of course, everything is kosher. He used all the right plates and the cooking utensils too. This is too much, Martha. Nonsense, she said, returning to her bedside, delicately fluffing each and every one of the pillows. Rachel suppressed the instinct to swat her away like a fly. The truth was she did need the help, and Martha and her nonstop doting had allowed Rachel to rest her body completely. It gave her the chance to recover and the opportunity to be fully cared for while never lifting even a finger. It would likely get her out of bed sooner rather than later. She just hated the fact that it came from Jacob. She couldn't believe that the same man who had nearly killed her was now her benefactor. He thought of everything: a kosher chef to make her meals, delivery people to pick up the prescriptions. Her laundry had even arrived to her bedroom, pressed, ironed, and folded. It was a dream, the fantasy she'd always wanted, delivered via Martha McBride, aka Martha Poppins. His perfectly wonderful gift, so generous and thoughtful, caused all type of confusing feelings to rise up inside of her. Now, Martha said, pulling out a napkin and attaching it to the top button of her collared pajamas. While you are eating breakfast, I'd like to give this place a very good scrub down. The reason I bring this up, of course, is because of that one room. Which room? The locked room. The room that makes the weird jingling sound every hour on the hour. I would like permission, of course, for my team to clean this room. Oh, Rachel said. That room. Martha waited for acknowledgement and permission to enter the secret Christmas office. Instead, Rachel simply dug into her scrambled eggs. I will remind you, Martha said, refusing to retreat, that everyone who enters this apartment, including me, has signed a non-disclosure agreement. Your privacy will be safeguarded. And yet, Rachel dropped her fork, you still work for Jacob. Beyond the fact that the NDA was his idea and I have nothing to gain from... Wait, Rachel interrupted. The NDA was Jacob's idea? Oh, yes. He mentions that you are very private and he wanted to protect that privacy. Ugh, Rachel groaned, closing her eyes. It was just like stupid Jacob Greenberg, her stupid summer camp arch enemy who put her in the stupid matzo ball costume to be so freaking thoughtful about everything. She didn't know whether to be grateful or to throw up about it. You seem upset by this news, Martha said. It's, you know what, it's complicated, Rachel sighed. How much longer are you here for, anyway? Oh, until Jacob sends me home. Fabulous. Rachel didn't mean to come off like an ungrateful snob. Martha was doing an amazing job. She was like a chronic illness fairy, just showing up at the right moment and making everything better. It was simply that every time she looked at Martha Poppins, she instead saw Jacob Greenberg. It is a fantastic line, right? Be grateful about it or throw up about it. The front door buzzer drew both of their attentions. I will get that, Martha said. Rachel picked up her fork, fully prepared to finish her eggs, and stopped thinking about Jacob when she heard it. French. Lots and lots of French. There could only be one person standing in the doorway talking to Martha in French. Rachel groaned again. The man was obsessed with her. She threw her fork down, anger returning. Jacob had nearly killed her after all. Worse than that, he had played with her emotions, gotten her interested in him over Shabbat, only to stomp all over her heart. On the other hand, he had gone out of his way to make things right. He did apologize, and he sent her Martha Poppins and gave her a ticket to the Matzah ball. She didn't understand his ups and downs, but just hearing his voice at the door softened her heart to him once again. Even though it went against her better instinct, she found herself rising from the bed and heading to the front door. Martha, Rachel said, interrupting them. It's okay. I can take this. I know we all need a Martha Poppins, right? Yeah. Martha stepped out of the way, and Jacob was standing in the hallway. An awkward moment stretched between the three of them. God, this boy was hot. It seemed impossible, but he must have gone up about 3 degrees worth of hotness since the last time Rachel saw him. She loved his button-down shirt and the way that his pants hugged his muscular thighs, the incredible way that his black leather belt heightened the V shape on his waist. He was looking at her, too, up and down. Almost immediately, all her insecurities about being ill and looking like a banshee on a bad day surfaced. She felt gross next to this man, the picture of good health and virility, but whatever. What Jacob didn't know was that sick girls did everything on their backs. You know what? Martha said, grabbing her coat and scarf. I was just heading out to pick up some more cleaning supplies. Rachel, do you need anything while I am gone? No, she said. I'm fine. Very well, Martha said, heading for the elevator. I will be back in just a bit then. Rachel leaned against the doorpost. Jacob rubbed the back of his neck. Hey, can I come in? No. Fair enough. How are you feeling? Jacob. Rachel closed her eyes. What are you doing here? She was far too tired to deal with his games today. Right, he said, getting down to it. I was wondering if you wanted to go out. Excuse me? The thing is, you won't believe this, but I've never been to the Empire State Building. Well, Rachel said, raising both her eyebrows, I guess you should totally get on that then. No, he said, turning bright red. What I meant is, I would like to go with you to the Empire State Building. Do y'all count these books on your book counter for the year? I do. Yes, I do, Heather. I count all of it for all of us. Oh my God, Sasha, I got little people Disney princesses. Just open them. Ellie screaming. Oh, I love that. Sweet baby girl. She had to replay his words in her mind several times. Are you insane? Oh, she's Ariel. That's hilarious. Just get her in the water. That's funny. That's like Ethan with the rubber duckies, right? Except the opposite. I guess, I mean, not that I know of, Jacob replied. I might have some issues, but some? What did you tell me again? He bounced in his heeled loafers. That God only works through broken vessels? She scoffed aloud. Don't you quote my own midrash at me. Sorry, he said. Secretly, she was surprised that he remembered what she'd said, shocked, in fact, that those words had made such an impression on his heart. Rachel didn't know whether to love him, hate him, or maybe a little of both. The only thing she knew for certain was that she wasn't going anywhere today. I'm sorry, Jacob, she said, and moved closer to the door. I can't. Why not? I don't feel well, and frankly, I don't really trust you. How do you sound the characters? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Ari. I'm sorry. Okay, listen, look, I knew you would say that. Jacob held up one finger, his body angled toward the service elevator, which is why, could you just give me a second, okay? Please don't shut the door, okay? Jacob, just please, he said, disappearing down the hall. Just one more minute. Rachel watched him struggle with something heavy and metallic at the end of the hall. She listened to him grunt and moan, and he pulled it from the service elevator and wheeled something covered in a white blanket down the hall. Ew, if that is a dead body, just wait, he said, trying not to test her patience. You're gonna love it. He returned to her front door, and then after a dramatic pause, he pulled the white blanket off like a magician. Ta-da! He said with full jazz hands. What the hell is that? It's a wheelchair, he said triumphantly. I can see that. What the hell is all over it? Oh, he said, looking down at it. I bedazzled it. Jacob spun around, pride beaming all over his face. It must have taken hours to complete this. Pink and silver gemstones littered the back sides. Stars and hearts and diamond shapes encrusted the wheels and handles, but perhaps the most impressive of all was the 80s-looking word highlighted in giant pink and green neon and silver puff paint on the back of the chair that said, Rachel. You spent all night bedazzling a wheelchair? She asked. No, not all night, maybe just like a couple of hours. Why, is that strange? No, that's totally normal. I really wanted it to be special. Your art projects are getting a little bit out of control, Jacob. He grabbed the handle and pushed the chair forward. Come on, your chariot awaits. Rachel sighed, staring down at the chair. The thing was, this was sweet. It was thoughtful, and she had never before had anybody bedazzle a wheelchair for her. It was like something out of one of her Christmas movies, if everybody in the cast was Jewish and the heroine had a disability. The problem was, this wasn't a movie, and Rachel just wasn't ready. She wasn't out of her disease. She wasn't out about anything. Sitting in a wheelchair meant accepting that you were disabled and dealing with awkward stares from healthy people. Most of all, and because she had a disease with a name like chronic fatigue syndrome, there was something always like a fear tucked away inside of her that someone would look at her and say she was doing all of this for attention, that she really wasn't that sick. And so the thought of a wheelchair would certainly make her more mobile and give her a higher quality of life, but she chose to stay home instead. You don't really care at all, do you? She said. What? What people think of you? He shrugged. Why would I care what people think of me? It was like he existed on a planet that Rachel had never visited. There was a part of her that wondered what it would be like to date someone like Jacob, as confident and self-assured, like as if that could be spread like a cold. Rachel could use a heaping dose of whatever it was that Jacob had, the inner strength that allowed him to move through the world, not caring what other people thought. Rachel wasn't like Jacob. She didn't know how to be herself around others. She didn't know how to live authentically. It was a skill that she had completely missed, a grade she had skipped over completely, and after years of playing the role of the dutiful rabbi's daughter, my mom didn't like them either, Jacob said. Rachel squinted. What? Wheelchairs? He added. Your mom was disabled? She was surprised to hear this. In all her years of receiving Camp Ahava news and gossip, this had never been mentioned. Jacob nodded. MS. Suddenly it all makes sense. So that's what this is about? What? Your poor dead mother was chronically ill? She couldn't believe she'd been so stupid. It took Jacob a minute. No, Rachel, no, she said, holding up a hand to stop him. I get it now. You're gonna pity date the sick chick, right? No, I think you're misunderstanding me because my life is so much smaller than yours. No, I didn't say that, because who in the world would ever want to date someone like me? She threw her hands in the air. I'm just doomed to stay single, right? Rachel, he shouted, interrupting her melancholy diatribe. I don't pity you, okay? Not to be rude here, but you're way too much of a hard ass to be pitied. Then why are you here? She snapped back at him. I told you, he said, pushing the chair in her direction. I've never been to the Empire State Building before, and I hate when TikTok does that, and it's like right in the middle of a really good scene, and they want to pause everything. That was cruel. This was a good scene. They ruined it all. We were doing well. We're going to back up a little because they just screwed it up. I told you, he said, pushing the chair in her direction. I've never been to the Empire State Building, and I thought it would be fun for us to go together. She fell into his eyes. They were warm and soft, and he seemed genuine. But there was all this other crap wrapped up around him. Her crap, really. Even if she could push through her fears and anxiety and tell this man the truth about her life, it wouldn't really matter, because in this moment, in the here and now, with Jacob standing at her door and offering her a ride in a bedazzled wheelchair, Rachel was just too sick No, I'm sorry, Jacob, she said. I need to rest. And Rachel shut the door on him. She shut the door like always on the possibility of love, and then for no reason that she could pinpoint, no reason in particular, she burst into tears. A deep wail escaped her lips and she crawled back into bed. Chronic illness was, indeed, the great decider, and it had decided for her once again. 8th email. From Lisa Brown to Rachel Rubenstein Goldblatt, Friday, December 17th. All caps, contract coming. Rachel, great news. I just got off the phone with Chandra at Romance House, and she is just spinning like a dreidel after reading your pages. She would like to contract Hanukkah Grinch ASAP and work out the details for the next 6 books at our meeting in 2 weeks. Are you cool with that? If so, I'll review and send over the contract. Congrats, girly. Lisa. That was real sad, you guys. I agree with Naisa. I think she's just doing too much. I think Jacob was really trying, and I don't think it's necessary to like assume that he's trying to atone for his sick mom. I think he's trying to be relatable, and I think that's okay. I was too, Avery. I was really hoping she would just like say like, let me shower real quick and let's go have some fun, but she didn't. Well, that's where we're at. I wanted to read another one, but the next chapter is really long and I do have to get to work because it is a full work day for me, but we'll be back tomorrow and we'll read that long chapter tomorrow and we'll see what happens. I'm still hoping for a happily ever after, you guys. I'm still hopeful. I love him. He's so sweet. He's really trying. I really believe that, you know? Yeah. Oh, me too, Heather. I say this all the time, you guys, but book club is one of the most healing and joyful things in my life for sure. This is a gift. Yeah, exactly. That she could have told him today, not today, but another day I'll go with you. Yeah, she could have said that if she was to. You know, the fact that we all get together and do this, like this is the one thing that I gift myself that's like not a work thing, you know what I mean? Like there's no like this is like an escape from work, I guess, if you will. Like all the other lives that I do, all the slime lives, as fun as they are, it is my job and it is still work, you know what I mean? This is more of just like a happy relaxing moment where we get to read. And I also love that so many people who got away from reading for different reasons have come back to books because of book club. Guys, it's almost our 2-year anniversary. We are so close to 2 full years of this, which is just like, what a dream. So I am so thrilled. It gets you through being in an office. Yeah, I kind of appreciate that she's withholding a little. It's more, you're right, it is more realistic, but like, I don't know, that just feels so mean to snap on his mom like that, you know, like, oh, it's because you had a sick mom, you know, whatever. I'm like, I get why as a story the author wants to do it that way, Ray. See, Naisa, I love that. Yeah, book club is back and we're good. Give him something. Yeah, give him something. Do you still have the Chris fan club stickers? Yes, I have tons of them, Whitney. Yeah, just DM me on Patreon and I'll pop it in your next package, 100%. Anyone who missed out on our book club stickers, all you have to do is DM me. They're free. I don't charge anybody for them. It's just a gift for everyone who's in book club. I made them for funsies. I didn't make them to make money on them. It was like a thank you for being a part of book club. I feel like she slept a little too hard. I do. I think she snapped just a little too hard. Just a little too hard. Like, it's okay to hold your ground. My Name is Memory changed my life, and I was like, I have to read all the books ever in the world. My Name is Memory is such a good book, you guys. If any of you were not a part of book club when we read My Name is Memory, may this be my moment of recommending My Name is Memory to you. It is by Anne Brashard, the woman who wrote The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, but it is not a Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants book. It's not a part of that world. It is something that I read for the first time 20 years ago when it came out, and it stuck with me so hard that I have reread it multiple times, including it being one of the first books I read to book club. It is beauty incarnate as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I love that book so much. So if you were not a part of book club when we read My Name is Memory, let this be a note from me to you. She's let me recommend My Name is Memory. It's honestly a top tier book. Yes, yes. Naisa and I will stand by My Name is Memory as a recommendation to you all for the new year. Everyone should get a copy of My Name is Memory in the new year and read it. Yes, hundo percento. Yes. So that is where we're at. We will read more tomorrow, of course. And then, yeah, book club stickers are phenomenal, obviously. Roxy, if you don't have one, it's not Jen, because we weren't doing that, but at that time, like we didn't think of uploading the book club back then. I don't know why we didn't think of it. We just never thought of it. We didn't start uploading book club, I think, until Land of Stories. And because Land of Stories was a series, everyone was like, I don't want to miss it. You know what I mean? And so we started uploading when we read the first Land of Stories, which wasn't until I think like April, even though we started book club earlier in the year. We just never thought, like, you know what I mean? Like, we also didn't know how book club was going to go in the beginning. Yeah, I don't know. We just didn't think of it. It wasn't like we didn't want to, it just no one ever thought of it until then. And then things just changed, you know. So we started uploading them so people could catch up, which is great, I think. I love it. I love that it's like a thing we do as a collective. So that's all. I will see you all later. Hopefully I'll make slime later. I don't know for sure. It's going to depend on how fast I catch up with emails and DMs and all that. Yeah, you will not regret reading My Name is Memory. The opening, like, stuff is like, I make everybody read it, even Secret Husband. So anyway, I'm gonna go give him another round of meds for his injury from yesterday. Will book club be on YouTube tomorrow, or are we staying here? I'm gonna try to download this one. As long as this one downloads, we'll be staying here, Avery, but if this does not download, I will post about it, and we will be on there tomorrow if it does not download again. But I'm gonna test it right after this, and I will let you all know by the end of today where we're gonna be. And if it's gonna be on YT, I will post everywhere here and on Patreon to let everyone know one way or another where we're going to be. I'm hoping it downloads because I prefer this platform, but if they're not gonna let me download the lives, what am I gonna do, right? I gotta roll with what I got. So off to work for me. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you later / tomorrow.